Hello, welcome to GMT. I'm Geetha Gurumurthy. We begin at the Wagah crossing point between Pakistan and India. That is where the Indian pilot whose plane was shot down on Wednesday by Pakistan is due to be returned to India. Well, there is a large military and media presence as everyone waits for the wing commander Abhinandan Varthaman. The Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan said his return to India should be seen as a gesture of peace in the two countries' dispute over the control of Kashmir. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India has said today that he is very glad of the support throughout India for the armed forces. The way the nation has supported our armed forces is extraordinary. He says he bows to every Indian for that. But tensions, of course, have been raised in the last couple of weeks over the question of Kashmir, and we are waiting now for the handover of the pilot who was captured, Abhinandan Varthaman. He is a wing commander in the Indian Air Force. His plane was shot down by Pakistan on Wednesday. There was fury and upset across India when the Pakistanis released video of him. He was blindfolded, he clearly had blood on his face. The reports that he'd been attacked by a mob on the ground, stones thrown at him. That video was then deleted by the Pakistanis, and another one released by them of the pilot drinking tea. The question now is going to be, is he finally handed over to India? What condition he's going to be in? What treatment he's had by the Pakistanis? Is this now going to lead to a calming of the tensions between India and Pakistan, two nuclear nations, of course, or is there going to be any kind of escalation? Of course, there's been much pressure from the international community for both countries to bring a calmer way forward. We can speak now to Tahir Imran in Islamabad. And also, I'm joined in the studio by Dr. Paul Stott, who is from the Henry Jackson Society. First of all, can I just ask you, Tahir, just tell me what do you make of the pictures that we're seeing and of the information that we're getting about the release of this pilot? How important is that in terms of the relations now between India and Pakistan?
It is a very important step as far as it is concerned from the Pakistani side, because the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan took a very bold stand and he basically reached out to the Indian side, extended an olive branch in the shape of this extension. Although he's facing a lot of criticism from inside that it was such an impulsive decision taken in a hurry, but on the other side, the optics of it is playing in the favor of Prime Minister Imran Khan, and people are considering him as a statesman who has basically thwarted full-scale war in some people's word, or in some people's word, he has given a new dimension to this whole conflict. So the pilot is still not handed over. We haven't got any confirmation, but he will be handed over any moment now. And International Red Cross people are there who will take him into custody, and then they will basically proceed with it.
What questions are going to be asked of him? We're just seeing pictures of that convoy, actually, because, of course, he has been captured by the Pakistanis. People will want to know what kind of treatment he's had, what information he might have been forced to give to the Pakistani military, the Pakistani government. A lot of upset across India, I think, hasn't there been, in terms of seeing this pilot quite captured, and of course a lot of tension on both sides from India and Pakistan, with many people wanting this now to lead to a de-escalation.
Yes, I don't know what Abhinandan is going to say, but given the history that we Pakistanis had a pilot in the past named Nichikta, so when he left Pakistan, he did not speak to media, and after quite some years he gave an interview and he spoke about the treatment, the way he was handled when he was arrested, and the few days he spent in Pakistan. So I'm not sure, but from the outlook of that video released by Pakistani military, he was quite relaxed. His face was swollen, but he was talking confidently. He did not answer the questions he did not deem right. And the questions that he wanted to ask, for example, the question was about tea, and he said the tea is good. So these sort of questions are like we have to wait and see how it turns out on the Indian side. The media is quite, the images that are seen in Pakistan of Indian media are quite hostile. A lot of things Imran Khan brought to its knees, or Pakistani government brought to its knees. So these sort of statements are not going down well in Pakistan. And at the same time, Indian External Affairs Minister, who is attending the Organization of Islamic Countries conference, Foreign Ministers conference, she also spoke about Pakistan without naming Pakistan. So that is not considered as a good thing in Pakistan, because Pakistan has decided not to attend that conference, while the former President Asif Ali Zardari in the parliament said that Pakistan should have attended. The government decided not to. So it's a very mixed situation, if I have to put it in one line.
OK, Tahir, just hang on for us there as we continue to watch these pictures. We've been waiting for some time to see whether the pilot is going to be handed over. But of course, at the moment, we're still not seeing that. We're still that podium being brought out. There's a possibility, we understand, of possibly a statement at some point. We don't know whether I doubt personally whether that would be from the captured pilot himself, but possibly from another member of the Air Force. I'm joined in the studio watching these pictures unfold by Dr. Paul Stott, who is from the Henry Jackson Society and an expert in terrorism and radicalisation. It's very important, isn't it, to try and explain why we are here, because this has been a very, very dramatic build-up of tension between India and Pakistan. Nobody wants to see this escalate, and yet it started because of a suicide attack by a terrorist group, as India sees them, based in Pakistan. This group, Jaish-e-Mohammed, admitted that they had carried out this attack in Kashmir, killing over 40 people. The question is really, from India's viewpoint, will Pakistan be forced to act against these terror groups now?
Well, that's very much what India wants, and I think it's important to keep an eye on that question, that India obviously wanted the return of its pilots. That humanitarian need has now been met. But
we're waiting to see whether he's handed over. Yes, we're expecting that.
But we've got the much bigger political question here of India's demand that Pakistan close its training camps and therefore stops interfering, as it sees it, in Indian-controlled Kashmir. And
what is the evidence that is known by the British government, the American government, international governments on Pakistan's support, funding of militant training groups that operate either in Afghanistan or in India or in Kashmir?
Well, certainly with the Jaish-Mohammed group, it is substantial, and India has been making requests for a succession of Pakistani-based jihadists to be handed over to it. There's also been evidence levied with Interpol, and it hasn't seen the action it's wanted. It's also tried to get agreement at the United Nations level with the Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee against individuals like Masood Azhar, who's now based in Pakistan, who's moving around quite freely. So India will want to see action there as far as it's concerned.
But China blocks those actions, doesn't it? And China is a very big sponsor of Pakistan. So is anything going to change?
Well, that's the background factor here, that you've got the United States moving much closer towards India than it perhaps has in the past, but Pakistan knowing that potentially China has its back. And so you've got, if you like, those two background factors which make this conflict even more tricky.
It's America also, as you said, in a slightly tricky position. Some might say it has long been seen as a big supporter of Pakistan. It gives a lot of money to Pakistan, but it sees Pakistan as a strategic ally as well in its battle in the whole region, because the future of Afghanistan is also tied up with this, isn't it? How far will the US act against Pakistan when it still needs its cooperation?
I think things have changed slightly in the Trump era, and Trump began 2018 with a very robust tweet aimed at the Pakistani leadership, basically saying it hadn't done enough in terms of counter-terrorism. The US had given it too much money. And of course that background factor of bin Laden being found and killed in Abbottabad, in a garrison town in Pakistan, that played very badly with American public opinion.
Yes, and we'll talk shortly about that, because of course there's a US appeal now for help with Osama bin Laden's son, who was found in Pakistan. If I can just go back to my colleague who is in Islamabad. From the Pakistan viewpoint, this has escalated, this tension, as we said, between India and Pakistan. Imran Khan is being given some credit now for offering to hand back the pilot. We will see whether that pilot is returned. That is the expectation. We haven't seen it yet. Where do you think this goes from here for Imran Khan? What is the public mood, if it's possible to gauge that there?
It's a huge gamble for any Pakistani Prime Minister, especially Prime Minister like Imran Khan, because today he had the first taste of that in the parliament, because the opposition leader, former foreign minister Khwaja Asif, told the prime minister or the treasury benches that it's the same government that used to accuse Mia Nawaz Sharif, the former prime minister, of treason, of treachery, basically, that when it used to talk about normalization of relations with India, and when it used to talk about stability, talk about trade with India. So now Imran Khan, Khwaja Asif said that Imran Khan is talking the same language, using exactly the same words with reference to India. And then that is basically what Imran Khan might face in the coming days, because they started off in a position as an opposition party, attacking the ruling PMLN for extending relations with India. So Imran Khan had played a huge gamble, and that is, for the timing, it's considered as a very statesman-like attitude, and he is considered as somebody who has handled the situation very maturely, very smartly, and he looks very poised to take benefits out of that, if this is not if it is not misused, or it is not returned in the same way from the Indian side. We have yet to see how things are going to play out in the coming days for Imran Khan.
Okay, Tahir Imran, we'll let you go for now, but we will come back to you, I'm sure, if we do see the release of that pilot within the next few moments. Thank you very much indeed for now.